So today we're going to take a look at just some basic selection tools, and I have other videos on selection tools in my YouTube channel, which I will reference as well. But selection tools are the basis of photo editing and photo touching, and what they're allowing us to do is select certain entities of the photo and do certain manipulations to that selection. So for instance, in Photoshop, these first like 3 or 4 tools here, 1, 2, 3, are selection tools. All right. There are lasso tools. We have our marquee tools. So both elliptical, rectangular, and then quick selection tools, which I have a longer video on the quick selection tools. So I'm not really going to cover those so much today. Okay. You could watch my other video on the quick selection tools and how we can do masks with them, etc. But the key to all this is being able to select a certain entity and do certain things to that entity. So for instance, if I were to just draw with the elliptical marquee tool, a ellipse around this, try getting a little tighter here. All right. I could do certain things to this selection, and that's kind of a poor selection, as you can see, because I'm out of the colored part of the eye into the white part. So I may opt for a lasso tool. So I'll hit Control D, deselect on a Windows machine. And with the lasso tool, it's just hand drawn. So you're a little more specific. And I'll select this. And from there, that which is selected, I can now affect through my filters. So I could say I want to either run a filter on it, or I could say I want to make an adjustment on it. So we're just going to take a look at pulling a little more saturation out of this eye to add just a little bit more color saturation, and then desaturate this section a little bit just to bring a little more color to this. All right. And we want to lose a little bit of this red over here. So first thing I'm going to do, I have this selected. I can just say image adjust hue and saturation. So I could just bring the saturation up. Remember, we don't want to go crazy on this, right? Because it's easy to make this look fake. So my 0 is where it started at. I could bring just a little bit more. So that's like a +40, okay? And if I wanted to, I could have dropped, I have some of the eyelashes in here, or reflection of, I could have dropped this a little lower so that they kind of stay unsaturated. So I'll hit OK, zoom out, Control D to deselect, and that has brought some more saturation to the blue. Now, if you think my selection is a little harsh in through here, watch my other videos with the quick selection tool and how we can feather that selection in and out. Okay. And then we could try the opposite over here, where we could once again try some of our selection tools and select this. Okay. Now, the other option we have available to us is we can select certain color ranges. So I could say select color range, and I want to select this like pinkish color range. And then I can bring the fuzziness up so I start getting into the little blood vessels and capillaries here. So we'll keep clicking around until we get a result that works, and that selects this pink area. I could try it again, Control D, select color range, and maybe I give it a little more fuzziness and it selects a little bit more of it. And we could try desaturating that. Image adjustments, hue and saturation, and just bring the saturation down on that. And that will drop some of that pinkness out. And the key is we're not trying to lose this content. It still exists. We're just trying to pull some of the red hue out of it. All right. So let's try a different method. We'll do the lasso again. And I'm going to try to just desaturate all this. So this is just the manual lasso. You could also try the magnetic lasso, which allows you to kind of click, add to. It follows line and color selections, and I cover that, I think, in the other selection video, if you want to watch that. And we can go ahead and image adjust hue and saturation. And the key is just bringing saturation down a little bit. We're not dropping it to 0, right? We were at 0 or excuse, yeah, we were at 0. Let's just bring that just down, maybe -30 again, -40. Pulling some of the color out, Control D, zoom out, and that loses some of that pinkness that was in the corner of the eye. Okay. You could also run, you could try different filters, you know, when certain aspects are selected. So if you select just the main part of the eye here, you could try different filters in there. Or on your adjustments. So if you say, all right, let's do a selection, let's try vibrance and see what that does, or try some exposure or curves. You can play with all of this, but the key is getting something selected first so you're not affecting the whole photo, right? Because if you do that, it's going to affect the whole photo versus if you just have something selected. All right. And I think the key is not going extreme, just touching a little bit so it brings out and emphasizes what we want, but not necessarily going overboard on it. All right.